Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. My channel is about marriage to a woman from the Philippines, and I want to talk about something to look out for today, which would be childish behavior, emotionally childish tendencies to watch out for if you're a foreigner like I was looking to date a Filipina, starting online first. And I've been married for 9 years. This is from Elizabeth Hartley Global English Editing.com. They call it 8 Signs a Woman Has Emotionally Childish Tendencies, according to psychology. And of course, this could apply to men as well, I would assume. And they talk about relationships can feel like a wild ride, especially when one partner shows signs of emotional immaturity. And these behaviors, backed by psychological insights, can lead to unpredictable moments, bouts of uncertainty, and a need for constant reassurance. So let's get into these, see how many of these you can relate to, and leave a comment if this is a really big one for you, or if it cost you in the past, how you feel about it. Number one, overreacting to minor issues. Ever notice how she blows small problems way out of proportion? That's a classic sign of emotional immaturity. They say, take for example, the grocery store meltdown over her favorite cereal being out of stock, or the explosive reaction to a canceled plan with a friend. While most adults would brush these off, for her, they're like major setbacks. Now, I've done that myself too, and I'm not a young person anymore, but I still have fits of that. So that's something I would want to work on before I got married, if I knew about this as being an issue. So these are things also you don't want to show the woman that is talking to you. You don't want to have her catch on to something here. She might not be able to explain exactly what she's seeing, but if it's something like this, emotional immaturity, she's not going to like it. So that's overreacting to minor issues. Another one, how about this? Avoidance of conflict. Boy, I don't like that one. And they say Filipinas like to avoid conflict. While it might seem like a positive trait, according to the article, constantly dodging conflict can actually be a red flag for emotional immaturity. Sure, they say at first glance you might think someone who avoids arguments is just trying to keep the peace and be mature, but there's more to it. If she's steering clear of any hint of confrontation or tough talk, it could signal a struggle with handling intense emotions. This avoidance might mean she lacks the skills or emotional strength to tackle disagreements in a constructive way. Well, if you're going to marry someone, a younger Filipina, 20, 25-year age gap or more, that's something you probably will, need to deal with. And you got to take the good with the bad when you're looking for someone with, you've got a big age gap with that woman. You have to understand that hopefully your maturity level is way above theirs. And it's really frustrating, when somebody doesn't want to talk about something. You feel like, we just hash this out, we'll be fine, but we got to talk about it. And if they just don't want to get to it, it's really frustrating, isn't it? You feel like you're so close to maybe getting somewhere, and they just won't let you get there. A third way of showing emotional insecurity, difficulty understanding others' perspectives, how true that is. In childhood, a crucial milestone is grasping the idea that others might see the world differently than we do, a concept psychologists call theory of mind. Now, if she regularly struggles to recognize or respect your perspective, it could signal emotional immaturity. This might show up as an unwillingness to compromise or brushing off your thoughts and feelings as irrelevant. Well, if you see that, that is a massive red flag. Another sign of emotional insecurity would be inability to self-soothe. Now, self-soothing, that's the ability to calm oneself during emotional distress. This is a concept deeply rooted in psychodynamic tradition. They say therapists recognize it as a crucial skill for managing and regulating intense emotions, the ability to self-soothe. They say by the same token, if you've noticed a woman leaning on others for comfort Rather than finding solace in herself, it could be a hint of emotional immaturity. Ability to self-soothe. And marriage will bring out the worst of you and her. And while you've got to talk things out, that's very necessary. By the same token, you still need to calm down. And so you can put yourself in a state where you can actually have some kind of effective communication when there is conflict. Moving on to 5, struggles with impulse control. Yeah, that would be emotional insecurity. Something to watch out for. They say we've all felt the pull of spontaneity, whether it's treating ourselves to an impulse buy or indulging that extra piece of cake. But as adults, part of maturity is learning to temper those impulses and consider the consequences. From a characterological perspective, I didn't read that one first, someone suggests that impulsivity involves unplanned, risky behaviors and hasty decision-making. Thus, if a woman often acts on impulse without considering the aftermath, it might point to emotional immaturity. Now, they said often acts. That's different than occasionally blowing it now and then, which we all do. This could mean overspending, overindulging, or diving into risky behaviors without a second thought. Boy, that can be destructive. Another one, and a big one that you're going to need when you're married, is watching out for somebody who has difficulty apologizing. That's a sign of emotional immaturity, and I think we can all speak from the heart that there have been plenty of times we had trouble apologizing. We should have apologized. Maybe we didn't because it can be uncomfortable to apologize. But I'll tell you what, if you're not married, try to learn to apologize in any situation before you get married, because this is going to be a big one. And you both need to be good at this, because failing to apologize, doesn't help at all. I mean, this is a real killer. And it won't hurt you to say, I'm sorry, I did something I shouldn't have done. I was stupid, foolish. I don't know how I did that. I lost control. I lost my temper. I said some foolish words and it hurt them. And words have the power of life and death. You want to be using your words to build somebody up, not tear them down. And if you say something that hurts, then you need to learn to apologize. And if you see them not apologizing when you're online, well, that might be something they'll carry over into marriage as a sign of emotional immaturity. 7, always playing the victim. Always. Life throws curveballs, no doubt, according to the article. But if she consistently plays the victim card, blaming others or circumstances for her woes, that's a flag. So keep an eye out on that when you're talking online for maybe hours a day, like we did, about 4 hours a day before I went to the Philippines and married her on day 54 back in 2015. And they say it's far simpler to point fingers than to own up. If she's never willing to acknowledge her role in a problem, it speaks volumes about her emotional maturity or lack thereof. So if you're the guy marrying a younger Filipina and you have more experience, you're older, you've had more mistakes to learn from, you should be the one playing the role in doing the opposite of all of these things and leading by example for the person that you marry. And the last one I think they have here is dependence on others for happiness. Ultimately, it's crucial to recognize that true happiness stems from within. If someone constantly relies on others to fulfill their emotional needs to bring them happiness, it can indicate a lack of emotional maturity. As adults, they say we should strive to find contentment and fulfillment independently without placing undue expectations on others. Continuously seeking external validation or solutions to one's problems can strain relationships and hinder personal growth. I still think, and that may be true, but I still think we need other people in our life, whether that's called dependence or not. I don't know. I feel like I need my wife. Does that make me dependent on her? Is there something wrong? I don't know. Leave your comments here on this on Love Beyond the Sea.